All right, peace, God, peace to the gods, man. I got an interesting video today. As I sit in front of the papaya tree, I like this spot for making videos. It's shaded under here. I probably need to speak a little louder, but it's shaded over here. You see Kaj over here fixing her hair and stuff.
Peace and love.
For today's video, I don't even know if I want to put this on me or over here. What do you think? Right here's good. I mean, I'm gonna be able to hear really good anyway.
Oh yeah.
But in today's video, I want to recap a conversation I had with a brother on Facebook, with one of my Facebook friends, and I basically told him that being in the United States is like being a lab rat. It's literally like being a lab rat, and you're being experimented on.
Science experiment in a laboratory.
And yeah, and I told him, I think I'm gonna title this video, the United States is a laboratory. It was like a laboratory.
Mad scientist laboratory?
Yeah, a mad scientist laboratory. So being in the United States, it really does seem and feel like everybody's just getting experimented on. Physically, here we go, physically, spiritually, financially, emotionally, psychologically, in every way, shape, or form. You're just getting experimented on. You got the chemtrails, you got the news and the radio spreading false narratives and fake news, so that affects your psychology. You got all kinds of advertisements or advertisements promoting unhealthy food and promoting things that just aren't in your best interest. You got all kinds of pesticides and chemicals in your food. You know, over here in the tropics, ain't no need.
In the water.
In the water, yeah, the water.
You can't even trust the water.
You can't trust the water. And over here in the tropics, we don't have to be concerned with pesticides and chemicals and the old Monsanto. I don't even know what pesticide company it is now, but back when I was waking up, so to speak, we're becoming more self-aware with Monsanto.
Yeah, I used to go to anti-Monsanto rallies.
You did?
Yeah.
Tell me about
pictures. It was during the time when they were, at least in Arizona, this was gonna be 2012, and they were trying to get the government to pass the laws that made it that they would have to label if something was GMO, and they were also trying, at the same time, they were also trying to restrict Monsanto specifically. And so yeah, I would go to rallies, and Mary was just like 1 year old, so we'd push her in the stroller, but like we were really into that. And so yeah, we made signs and marched down the street and went to rallies and everything. I have a whole bunch of photos that I just found on my phone. Maybe I'll post those sometime soon.
I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah,
it's a really good idea. Kaj, you've done a lot of stuff in your life, man.
Oh, thank you.
Been in a lot of different places. You know, as I said, I'm ready for you to share all of that online, so people really know how well traveled you are and how much experience you are, so you can live with more respect.
Yeah.
Put some respect on your name. You know?
Okay. I just now recently unlocked some of those file folders that I wasn't aware that I still had access to them. So I'm really thankful that we've been doing all that with the computer and trying to move the files over, because I was like, what? I still have this? I still have these photos? Like, this is great. It's great stuff. So yeah, we'll definitely be releasing those.
Let me cut that grass too. But yeah, being in the United States, yo, you get involved. We got involved, and we get involved on things that really don't even require our energy. The food part is a really big part. Like I'm here in PR, and I really can't speak on all the other places in the tropics, but I can say here, for one thing, when I see people's bodies, I'm not used to seeing cellulite. Like in the States, seeing cellulite is like a normal thing. Seeing big people and fat people, and
oh yeah,
just seeing
in line to go to the fast food.
Yeah, like seeing even here, though we may see big people, they don't be all like, their body don't look all pixelated and digital. pixelated and shit. Because all of them dots from the cellulite. Because there's not as much processed food. There's a lot more local foods and local growers and local restaurants. They're not chains and corporations and stuff. Not like the States. So people in general, their bodies and their health is way better. And in the States, man, it's just no way to get away from chemicals and unhealthy foods because of mass production and monoculture, so to speak. Over here in the tropics, you got people growing all kinds. It's different varieties of food because everything grows well, quite well, even without chemicals. It's just gonna grow, you know. But the food part is a big part. I remember who used to say it when Eligio, when Carbonation was studying Bruce Lipton. He was talking about the, what is it called? The epigenetics and how people are being controlled through the food. He talked about that a lot, and I'm like, well, even though it could be true, and it was all CRISPR. Eligio made a video about CRISPR, but even with all of that stuff right there, the CRISPR and the genetically modifying foods. Go ahead.
You know, they say that soy, although I haven't confirmed this scientifically myself, but there's some talk of that soy, at least back maybe about 10 or 20 years ago, once soy became like super popular as a protein alternative, they were saying that pregnant mothers and babies, especially male babies, you know, soy has been shown to increase like the feminine hormone levels.
It produces estrogen.
And there was like an upsurge in young boys looking very feminine, growing breasts, and you know, the science isn't back yet, but they may have been early to say that, you know, they were the opposite. They claimed that they felt like they were the opposite of their their gender that they were born with. So there's even, so you never know, they could be controlling you know, procreation through things like
through
that.
epigenetics.
Yes, through epigenetics.
It's very possible. It's very possible. I know that that's something we don't have to be concerned with in over here in the tropics.
Sure
like
is.
I said, because you don't have to be concerned with chemicals. You don't have to be concerned with pesticides. You know, when it comes to pesticides in general, as soon as you spray the plant, like the soil is ruined. Like that's kind of it.
Oh yeah.
As soon as you spray that chemical on that soil, that spot in the soil is ruined. If you've ever seen someone spray vinegar, like I'm used to seeing people in the States spray vinegar on dandelions to kill the dandelions because they're invasive. Though they may be healthy, they're invasive. And once you spray that vinegar on that spot for the dandelion, the grass turns yellow. Like it just messes up the pH of the soil. So all of them chemicals just ruin the nutritional value of whatever fruit you're trying to eat, and of course it's going to take the plants longer to grow. Now, of course, we got the food, and then you got the quote-unquote the money trap. quote-unquote being a battery to the system. You got the big giant money trap. It seemed like magic for a while. It seemed like black magic for a while for me when I noticed. I was like, man, it seems like every time I pay something else, something randomly fucked up happens. Doesn't matter how healthy I eat, no matter what I eat. As soon as I pay something else, it's just like magically something will just randomly fuck up, and now I gotta shell out $1,000, $2,000 on something. But I don't have to be concerned with that over here. It's literally the quantum field of just being in the States, man. It's disappointing. It's depressing. You got the news. As soon as you watch the news, you're not gonna feel good. Psychologically, you're getting fucked up.
That's why we don't watch it.
You're not gonna be able to watch the news. It's on. And even if you watching the news, you're gonna also, because you're putting it in your mind, you're gonna end up watching the news on your phone and still not feel as good. And you're gonna be like, oh, well, everybody talking about this and everybody talking about that, and it's not the case. It's just the fact that you put a certain pattern in your eyes. Once you start getting on your electronic devices, you're gonna see the same pattern. It's just quantum physics, yo.
Oh, and you know what? I hadn't mentioned this to you, but the last time when I was over with Barry last week,
Mm-hmm.
and I had shown him some cute little thing of some kittens cuddling with a puppy, or that's my news feed is kittens and puppies. And so that's what I like to put in my eyes. And, so whatever, when I see a new, oh, you'll be interested in this, I always click on it because that's what it's going to be. So he's like, oh, hey, did you hear about this? And he comes over and I'm trying to cook dinner in my positive, happy little mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, a 6-year-old boy just brought a gun to school and murdered everybody, killed his parents, went to school and murdered everybody in the room. Did you hear about that? And I was like, most certainly not. What are you, what, get out of here with that. Go sit down, please.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make your dinner.
It's like, what something that gets me when it comes to the psychology of people here in Puerto Rico? I mean, why the fuck are y'all concerned with what happens in the States, bro? You're on this beautiful ass fucking island.
Place don't even exist.
You're on this beautiful ass island. With healthier people, better environment, better air, better quality air, surrounded in green. Why in the fuck? Even if I can understand, and maybe you got some family there. But why the fuck are you concerned with the shit that goes on in the States? I don't understand that. I don't get it. It ain't doing nothing but making you not feel good. And if it's the news, then he's sick. And even literally watching the news makes you sick. It makes you sick psychologically. As long as you're not feeling good about what you see on the TV, you not gonna feel good when it comes to your health. Your immune system ain't gonna help.
It brings me anxiety when I even let that into my eyes.
Anxiety and depression.
And it doesn't. As long as I'm not watching, as long as I'm not observing it, then that's not in my mind, and I'm not going to get sick from it, and it doesn't exist.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
I would say I like that it doesn't exist. It still exists. It's just about me not exposing myself to that energy.
To that reality.
Yeah,
because
man.
I'm here. Nobody's doing that kind of stuff here, so that doesn't exist in my reality.
You're not looking at gangs and killing and shooting and murdering. You're not doing any of that. Man. It's like, it is important. The quantum physics part of life really is important, because if you were to look at this phone and say, okay, this phone basically gives me this illusion that I'm searching for something that's not inside of me. So I could be like, all right, Google, how do I find this thing? And then I pull out my phone, and my phone uses the scrying mirror, if I want to call it. Yes. It's a mirror reflecting my mind, or projecting my mind. I like to say reflecting my mind on this device, and then I get an answer that was already in me and already was me. But that's neither here nor there. That's a deeper conversation. It's just the things we put in our eyeballs and in our mind in the States, man. There's no getting around being unhealthy there. There's just no getting around it. Because you're always exposing yourself to the sickness. Always. No matter where you are in the States, no matter who you're around, you're going to be around sick people. You're going to be around diseased people. You're going to be around people with mental health issues because of the environment they're in, because of what they watch, because of what they're exposed to. You literally just have to get away from the sickness in order to be at your best. And that's what I had to learn about myself. I had to get away from the sickness. Even when I talk to some of my friends that are in the States, they can't stop being sick. And it's like, one of my friends was like, yeah, I could just feel myself going to sleep again. Because my friend's been in the tropics before. So she know what it's like. And you literally just can't avoid the sickness. You can't. If you're exposed to a sickness every day, you're bound to just be and get sick. So that's why you have to stay in this environment. Either you want longevity in your life and to be happier and healthier, or not. As I've said before in my older videos and other videos, as soon as you learn about the importance of the tropics, you took the red pill. you already took the red pill. You talk about the Matrix, you already took it, so you can't go back, because you already know. You can't unknow what you know now. You can't unknow it. So, somebody back. But yeah, to anybody in the States that's watching and listening, that's gonna see this, however many people this video is gonna reach out to, whether you know me, whether you don't, whether you're familiar with me, whether you're not, you're gonna have to see the importance of this one day. Like, you're gonna have to. I ain't even gonna say you're gonna have to. You will one day. You're just gonna understand the importance of it. And those of us that are in the tropics, that stay here, we actually understand the importance of keeping your mind healthy. This is about your immune system and your psychological health. And the biggest thing is your psychological health. As long as your psychological health is great, your immune system gonna be great, because you're gonna engage in patterns that keep your immune system healthy. You know?
I know for me, like on all of those different aspects, the psychologically, the physically, the emotionally, I've definitely improved, and I'm totally revitalized in all of those aspects. And if anybody has been following my story or knows me from even like a few or 4 years ago, then I think you can look at me and listen to me now, and you can see, hey, I'm the proof.
Yep, I'm the proof, man. I've been at this for two going on 3 years. I've been aware of it for about 7-8 years.
I think the first video I ever saw of you on YouTube, which we'll be releasing some clip videos of that soon. The first ones that I've seen that I can get access to was going back to 2016, and you were speaking on things that some great, like, fundamental things that even like it wasn't another 2 years till I even came across carbonation, and I heard Eligio talking about it. So yeah, you've been talking about it for a while.
I even talk about who I study from, the Dr. Sibbies, and the Minister Inky at the time, Dr. Inky now, but Infudisha Jehutimas.
Yeah. And you give the credit
every time.
Yeah, it's
every
important.
Time. You got to give credit to your source, otherwise it's plagiarism.
Yeah.
You got to give credit.
Yeah.
I remember who I learned from. I remember what I learned. One of the biggest things that I've learned in my life is about grounding. And I learned about that because I got hit by a car. Nobody told me about grounding. I got hit by a car. Like, I could have died. I actually could have died, and I just so happened to start. I wanted to practice holistic health, so I wanted to make sure that I didn't put any unnatural chemicals or unnecessary chemicals and stuff in my body. I've always been strongly against doctors unless absolutely necessary. And after I got hit by that car, I looked up certain ways to heal inflammation. I specifically looked at inflammation because I was in excruciating pain, and that's when they said you got to ground yourself. And of course, I was like, there's no fucking way, bro. There's just no way.
It's pretty easy. I'll go try it.
Yeah, but living the lifestyle we live, you know, we got rubber shoes on. Being in the States, you programmed to have your shoes on all the time, whether you're in the house or not in the house. If you go to work, you got on shoes. If you're in the house, you need to wear socks because of this and because of that. Like, I just kept saying, like, this is the freakiest thing ever. If all I have to do, the simplest thing I have to do is just touch the earth with my bare feet. That's all I kept thinking. There's no way it could be that simple. There's no way. And sure enough, I'm sitting there limping on my carpet, limping on the concrete. I stand on the grass and I'm like, whoa, why does it feel, my legs don't hurt nowhere near as much. Whoa, what's going on with that? And it was just so eye-opening. That was in 2006. Yeah, 2015. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that. Okay, so recently I was mentioning Barry. He's an older gentleman that I take care of. He was in the hospital and he almost didn't make it. And so I in the last several months I've been going over there and staying there sometimes, and taking care of him, cooking for him, cleaning up, all those things. So while I was there living up in the penthouse, so far removed from the earth and everything, so I was getting a little bit more detached from what I was supposed to be following. Yet
loving the view.
I was loving that view. But the view does not give me any benefits health-wise. So I did start, so before I came to the tropics before I came here to Puerto Rico almost 2 years ago, it was like a year and a half, so May, right? So I had just been I was having severe neck and like shoulder pain, and the pain at times, like even if I would lift a grocery bag or something and walk a little bit, like I would find it would really make it more severe, and to the point where at my worst I couldn't even like lift my arm like to open the cupboard, and I was like, what is going on? Like it was very painful, and I went to the doctor and they sent me, and I got all ultrasounds and scans and all sorts of stuff of my neck and my back. And they said I had, I can't recall the exact scientific name, but it was like some degenerative, spine disc thing. And they said that eventually, like I was just going to be like in total, like excruciating pain. I wouldn't be able to turn my head. I would have all nerve damage, loss in my arms, and just all these horrifying things, unless I got emergency spine surgery right away. And they also had scheduled me to go get to a pain shot clinic, which I had never had any experience with that. Back in the day, they just give you, some Vicodin or pills or something, and, just let you stay on those until you could get the surgery. But, they shy away from that now because people have, issues with that. So they send you to a pain clinic where they, give you, shots or intravenous, morphine, or I'm not sure. I didn't go to the pain clinic, but I was scheduled to go to the pain clinic, and then like the next day I was gonna go get this neck surgery where they're gonna do surgery on my neck. Like that's kind of frightening. And so instead of doing that, I literally came here to Puerto Rico that week. I was like, I'll deal with that in the future if I have to. So, and guess what? So I came here. It's been a year and a half. I had after the first week or so when we started sleeping outside in VA case in the tent, I felt I'd say 80 to 90% better. Like sometimes I'll be a little stiff, or like I'll have some like joint pain, but nothing too bad. So anyway, fast forwarding back to the future, when I did this brief time, spending time over at the, my elderly man's house, I started in the last few weeks that I was there, like really, like all the symptoms started coming back, and I came back here and I was like, okay, well, I need to get back to what really helps. So Came back here. I kind of was like, I can't figure it out. Like, I don't know why all this pain is happening to me.
Are you feeling it now?
And Talib reminded me, because I got off course. I can admit it. And Talib was like, well, have you been grounded, Kaja? That's like the most important thing that we're in. I mean, I should know. I have a page about it. You guys follow Goddesses Grounded, goddesses.grounded, and grounding, yes. And I've been grounding, especially in the last week, coming out every day purposely and at least spending an hour. And then we use the grounding mat while we're sleeping in the bed, if we sleep in the bed. And guess what? I'm feeling so much better this last week since I've been more actively grounding. So, yeah, it definitely works.
So speaking of ground, I smell fresh cat poop. Man.
Yeah.
She must have. I think she just pooped.
Oh no,
there.
she did just poop there.
Jeez.
But then, she came over here and did some over there, and I was like, geez, can they poop somewhere fucking else? I mean, forgive my language.
So here, back to grounding thing, man. In the States, we're not thinking about grounding and keeping our feet connected to the earth. Plus, as soon as wintertime come, you not finna do that. You not finna put your feet on the ground on the earth. Well, I did.
Or in Tucson, Arizona, to have fun. You saw that.
What happened? What's going on in Tucson, the ground yourself?
Oh, well, it's very beautiful for about once a month when the cactuses bloom with the flowers, as we saw, because I went there briefly to drop my daughter back off. And but the ground is it's not soft like beach sand. It's like this hard, hurtful, and there's thorns literally coming out of the sand, and there's these sharp rocks and
I think you were showing me
fire
it was
ants.
It was like desert and cactus spines.
Yes, like just coming out of the ground. Forget about all of the cactus is actually growing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll repost a couple of those photos. I did take one of me standing in this one little spot trying to ground, but you can see all these deadly thorns coming out all around me.
I remember you sending me that video, and I was like, look at her, this cute right here. Look at her trying to be positive. Look at her trying to keep a healthy perspective. That shit, there ain't no way you finna go out there and have your feet connected to the earth out there. It's thorns everywhere.
Everywhere.
Your feet will be fucking bleeding. You'll be fucking Hellraiser on the feet.
Yep.
Fucking thorns. Fuck no, yo. But yeah, like I actually used to ground myself in the wintertime. As long as the weather wasn't below 32, I would go out there. Like I would come in the house and my feet would be damn near numb, but I would make sure to still be grounded in the wintertime. And then eventually, you know, I was like, this is stupid. This is dumb. You know, it's 40 degrees outside. The only way I can feel like I'm not getting frostbite is to stand in one spot. Because you know, if you stand in one spot and it's cold, you'll just generate heat. So it won't hurt as much, so to speak. But
yeah, and I was supposed to be there for a week or two or whatever. I had an open time I could be there, and I ended up being there for 3. I think I made it 3 days, and I was like, I'm on my way home. He's like, what happened to that? I was like, man, hell with this place.
Yeah. So we got the not being connected to the earth and keeping your mind off of it. And then like even that whole diabetic shit is shit. If you got a doctor and you diagnosed with diabetes, your doctor gonna tell you, don't connect to the earth.
Yeah, keep your feet
up. Now check this out. When normally if you get injured, you're not supposed to do an X-ray. You're supposed to do an MRI, because the MRI will show you where all of the inflammation is.
Yeah.
There have already been studies and MRIs done on people who have had injuries that ground themselves. And they show that after 15 minutes of grounding, it greatly reduces the inflammation in the body. Now, if you look at the science of it, besides the fact that all animals are connected to the earth,
and you don't see them with inflammation,
and you don't see them, and besides the fact that all plants are connected to the earth, and besides the fact that every power line you have in the world is connected to the earth, and on top of that, all your power lines are grounded to the earth at power line. And on top of that, the human is an electrical being. You put electrolytes in your body. The water's an electrolyte.
And where does water come from?
The ground.
From the ground.
The ground. It comes from the ground. It goes to the sky, and when it evaporates, it comes from the ground. Anyway,
what do you think? What's up with the birds? Is it what they sit in the tree branches and that gives them grounding?
Possibly. I mean, they get to the ground and look for worms and stuff like that. So they do get on the ground.
I saw that one up there, and I was like, uh-oh, somebody better talk to that bird up there.
Shout out to that hummingbird. Man, that trash can. I smell that trash can. Something. It may be a dead iguana or something in there, because it's anyway. So the human is an electrical being. The brain sends electrical impulses to the body, to the limbs, etc., in order for it to move, in order for me to talk to you, in order for me to talk on the screen, in order for us to interact with each other. It's all electricity. We live in what's called the electromagnetic spectrum. Electricity and magnetism. We can call it gravity. It's really magnetism. Not in the metaverse. We can call it gravity, but it's actually magnetism. Just magnetism. You're attracted to something. So what else we got? We can say the psychological aspect of being there. You got to live in fear most of the time in the States. You're gonna be living in fear. If you're not living in fear, you're gonna be working yourself to death. You can't work on yourself as an individual. You can't look at your personality and see how you are and see how you interact with people. If you're just working every day, 7 days a week, 365 a year, you're not gonna be able to work on yourself and see your character. You're just being a battery for your job, and that's it.
And even talking about living in fear and people in the States, as you started out this conversation talking about your friend who had called you from the States, and he had, for the purpose of, he wanted to know more about nationality and how to do all that so you could function better within the system, etc., which is fine. But you took that opportunity to kind of advise him on, hey, look, it's an experiment, it's a laboratory. You're living in fear, and this is a product of that. too.
It's the other cat. Keep going.
It's a product, you know, it's like you're living in, it's like a product of the fear.
Or the
and,
Matrix.
Yeah, the Matrix, to be, even to for one to have to focus on that kind of thing, because even to get, like, you know, to do your whole nationality and do all that, you have to like you have to go to these government offices, you have to do documentation, you have to show them who you were before. So it's like you have to more involve yourself. That's right, we're looking at you, kitty. And so you ended up bringing the conversation around to, you know, is the better idea to remove yourself from that.
The whole environment.
The whole,
get all the way
whole
out of
mad scientist laboratory.
Get out of the lab,
out of
man. Get out of the lab.
Yeah.
You're being experimented on psychologically, socially. That's why when you're in the States, a lot of that shit doesn't make sense. It is not adding up. It's not supposed to. You're being experimented on. Literally, I told him, I said, bro, look at yourself as a lab rat. And the laboratory is called the United States of America. That's the lab. That's the lab. So you're sitting here thinking all of this stuff is real, but you're in a world full of illusion. Literally, you're literally in this moment. What is it? Oz. You're literally in Oz. The wizard. You know, you got the wizard somewhere, but you're literally in Oz, in this fucking socially, emotionally, financially, spiritually experimental place. It's not designed to be real. It's not designed.
It's a social media experiment.
It's literally designed for you to be comfortable with death. It makes you just as comfortable as you can possibly be with all your fears and all your insecurities, all your doubts and death. So you're gonna notice in the States that everything is facilitated. Like it's easier to do everything. It's easy to be lazy now. You got the DoorDash and food gets delivered to your house now.
Oh my gosh, it costs so much.
Everything
when I came here, I apologize. When I came here at the end of the year, I was looking at all my, like, they add up the, like, how much, you know, you spent at like for Uber and for Uber Eats. Oh my gosh, in a year, the last year before I came here, Uber and Uber Eats, $16,000 I spent in 1 year.
Well, you must not have had a car though.
No, I didn't have a car, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, that shows on an extreme level how much one can spend being not going anywhere, or, you know, just having people drive you your overpriced food, and then, you know, that causes stress on one's, you know, income and their bank account, and then they risk going into debt and having all these extra. Yeah.
It makes you lazy. As humans, as animals in general, we need to be moving around. You got to move around and stay active. I ain't talking about just being at work and being disconnected from the earth all day, working hard as fuck, stressing yourself out. I understand, just like I told the other day, I'm like, you know, stress is a part of life. Like, it just depends on how much stress you're going to choose to incur depending on what you do. But stress actually is a part of life. The more you move around, the more stressed you're going to be. The less you move around, the less stressed you're going to be. However, we're not really taught to focus on the best ways to recover from stress. So you'll hear people talk about getting rest, but what does it matter to get rest if you're not connected to the earth while you're resting or while you're recuperating? Because that's the most important part. You got to plug yourself back in. You see, that's why when I was in the States, I made sure to have me a grounding mat, and I slept on my grounding mat. But even though I slept on my grounding mat, I was still in the States, so I had to deal with all the rest of the other stress, like people being unhappy because of the news, or people being unhappy because they're sick, or hearing sniffing and snorting and all of that stuff, because people's immune system will be fucked up from not only what they ate, from the weather itself. And it's like you can't even be around people who choose to make themselves unhealthy on a regular basis, because eventually you're going to fall into the same patterns and make yourself sick.
Like
it's
even
quantum physics.
Somebody who, like myself, like I had quit for a long time, quit smoking cigarettes, which I am free of cigarettes now. I'm so thankful. But for a while there, even though I wasn't smoking in the States, I had previously, and I found that, like, if I was working a job where, you know, there was, you know, your 15-minute break or whatever, and go outside to, you know, interact or just have a breath of fresh air. And the people out there smoking cigarettes, and it's like, you want to go talk to them, you got to stand there and buy the cigarettes, and maybe that would make me crave a cigarette. And it was just, ugh.
Well, your story is interesting. Let's get on that topic. Your story is interesting because when you got here, you chose to come with me and my aunt, and both of us smoked. Like both of us smoking. And she would be nagging and picking on us about smoking, and then eventually, I kind of stopped smoking, but you started smoking.
Well, I had my childhood friend came to spend some time with us.
You were smoking before then. You were smoking. You were smoking.
No, I remember I smoked the first cigarette with her.
You were smoking the Parliament Lights before Siobhan came. Siobhan was smoking the what were those called?
Marlboro.
Yeah, Marlboro. But you were smoking the Parliament Lights before she came.
Oh, I don't remember. I remember smoking for the first, at least from my memory, I remember getting into it, and like that's when I like really started smoking, was when she was here.
Yeah, she had a different type of cigarette because you started smoking what she smoked when she got here. But before that, you were smoking your Parliament Lights because that's even what you used to talk about often. You say, yeah, when I used to smoke, I was smoking my Parliament Lights and all this other stuff. No, you was most certainly smoking before Siobhan came.
So that shows me that knowing that I can be influenced by the people that are surrounding me, and that, you know, I'm giving my energy, my time to, is that it's healthier to surround myself with non-smokers if that's, you know, if I want to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Well, how do you feel about this? Like, you started smoking being around us, but you also stopped smoking being around me. Well, you stopped smoking being around Celia because you started doing the patch.
That's right.
But I was the one that was like, all right, we need to quit doing this smoking. Let's go ahead and end it. Let's go ahead and end it.
Yeah, you were saying it, and I know that, you know, you were supportive of that, and that you had a stronger willpower than I did. So it definitely could have worked. But I was feeling like I needed something a little stronger, like a little help to boost me to get that first couple weeks out of the way. And that's why I was like, I really need the patch. But, you know, I don't know what the prices are over there, but they're super expensive here.
Do you remember me saying, man, you needed the patch to stop? I just stopped cold turkey. I just stopped. I was like, fuck it. You know?
Congratulations.
She said congratulations. I was like, fuck it, man. Like,
yeah,
hey,
you have a very
because
good
what you were craving was the nicotine. I was just like, it's not that big of a deal. To me, I was like, it's just not that big of a deal to have all that nicotine. It's not.
Well, and plus I was going through, you know, like stressors, like, you know, I was getting stressed about, like, financially, about worrying, like we were just looking at my placements. I have like several placements where I get really overly worried about like the future and if security, like, am I going to have a place to live? I don't want any of my stuff to go missing, or just all of those kind of irrational things that I mean, it wasn't necessary, but still they were, you know, they're part of, you know, my placement, and I wasn't dealing with that as well before I am now. And so I think that smoking was a big part of that. So whenever I started getting anxious or was triggered or had some sort of a communication problem with somebody, or, you know, a difficulty or disagreement, I would be like, okay, I need a cigarette. And so I was finding myself having lots of stressed out moments.
And I was different. I was like, you don't need no cigarette. You don't need to leave. You actually need to talk through your stress so you won't feel that way anymore. Like, because even after you get done smoking, you're still gonna come back and talk anyway. Yes. So why not just eliminate the middleman, which was the cigarette, and just fucking talk?
Yeah, and then if one of my concerns was that I was having too much financial expenditures, and that, you know, I wasn't gonna have money for this or that but I'm gonna spend $10 a pack of cigarettes, like, get out of here, Gaja. Like, no, that's not gonna help. So I'd get stressed out and worry about money, and then I'd go and I'd count my little money and I'd buy a pack of cigarettes, and then I'd smoke it, and then I'd be stressed out
about, like, dang, man, I ain't got no money. I'm like, you just spent it.
And so it was like, you know, it was this loop, is this negative pattern. And so now what's helped me, and plus that was also it was also setting me up to be able to have an excuse or whatever to leave when I was stressed out, instead of having conflict resolution and
100%.
calmly talking.
I like how
know.
you just articulated that. I feel like you were really accountable when you just said what you just said.
Well, thank you.
I feel like that was because I used to feel that like she just trying to look for an excuse, or she's trying to start an argument so that she can justify why she need a cigarette. That's what I used to feel like. Why is she having this unnecessary ass argument with me, and it's not even that big of a deal, and then she come back with cigarettes or with some weed, and now she feel better. I'm like, yo, you just making excuses because you still want to do that shit. Yo, that ain't helping you. You know.
You know, I was just thinking, I can't remember the last time I smoked any weed.
Yeah, we can. Because it was the day I brought some. We had to.
Over a month ago?
Yeah, that probably was a month ago. That probably was a month ago.
I have not had any.
Because I got that gift.
Oh, that's right.
I got
That
the
was
gift.
just, but that's okay. Like, I mean, I'm not, you know.
Yeah, one time we're not indulging like we was.
Yeah, somebody wants to offer an offering to the gods.
I appreciate. I'm grateful.
Turn it away.
I'm
However,
grateful.
so since I stopped smoking, not only did I calm down the financial stresses, but it helped me stay and have healthy communication, talk through my stress.
Yep.
And then, as you know, yes, it was with the patch. I had a good friend, and she got me some patches, and oh my gosh, they worked so well. I'm so thankful for that opportunity. And so
I got a question after you get done.
So then so as that happened, so as I'm improving in those two areas, I also was feeling better about myself, that I wasn't playing a victim to this whole, this a negative circle that I kept
perpetuating. You ain't fall into shit. That's see, if you say you falling into something, you're making yourself sound like a victim.
Okay.
But if you say perpetuating, it's something that you can be accountable because you're the one that's creating it.
Yes. Oh, I definitely was creating it, whether I was falling into my own creation or not. But I was definitely perpetuating it, but not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So there were three things that helped me, and now I think I'm feeling magnificent on like across the board. I think I'm doing great.
Well, think though, in the States, there would be commercials about smoking, and advertisements about smoking. We don't even see like a whole bunch of billboards about cigarettes and smoking. Camel cigarettes and menthol, Marlboro. I don't see any commercials.
People, and like a lot of like the local, like the Puerto Ricans say, the mothers and the families, like you don't really see people standing around smoking cigarettes, like
unless you're at a bar.
Yeah, unless you're at a bar, and even common, you might see somebody like with a vape, maybe like if you're, I don't know, like at a bar or at a club or something like that, and that's not. I mean, it's not in my eyes. So
I got a question.
Yes.
I'd have to refresh myself on what the word is, right? What if nicotine patches aren't even real, but they're just designed to make you think that as long as you have the patch on, you're not going to have the desire to smoke?
Well, I mean, that could, so like a what do they call it, a pseudo effect or something?
Yeah, pseudo, yeah.
Uh-huh. Well,
is it possible that the patches are pseudo?
Well, I mean, unless they want a big lawsuit, I carefully read the box. In fact, I could go get that one. And there's a pamphlet which says, like, the CDC list of chemicals is regulated by this laboratory, and this is what's in it, and the percentages. And it says all the things. I can go get it if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like, but still, even with all that said, but what if that's what's advertised and it's false advertisement?
I mean,
and it's like, yeah, we're saying this is in it. This is what we're saying is in it, but it really isn't anything. It's like somebody that would take a pill. What is it? Pseudo. Somebody that would take a pill that's supposed to heal them, but it really doesn't do anything. Like a sugar pill, I think they call it. It's
like
just a sugar pill.
Like in you can do like sign up for experimental things, and it says some people may have what is that called? It's not a pseudo. It's called like a.
I'm not sure. You'd have to refresh my memory. I'm not.
But they'll have the control group that doesn't have the actual pill, with the active ingredient, and then they'll have the people that does have it, and they'll question them at the end of the time or do blood tests or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and see which ones. And some people do. They have the pseudo, effects where they
Pseudo,
think
yeah.
that, oh yes, I was feeling much better yesterday. It's like, no, you just
Is
took
that
a
the placebo?
placebo effect.
Placebo.
Yep.
Yeah, they're thinking is one thing. It's really
Yes.
not even that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that. What else? I know we done kind of went all over the place
Oh,
with the
yeah.
topics, even though they're all related.
They're
They are
all great
related
topics,
to
though.
being in the States and dealing with all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No billboards with there's a lot of alcohol promotion over there as well.
Here, the only alcohol promotion is for the Gasolina.
Well, yeah, that's the Gasolina is an energy drink.
It is, well, they're made by the same company as the Sippies.
Oh yeah,
When you hear a lot of the Puerto Rican, reggaeton songs, and they're talking about Gasolina, they ain't talking about the energy drink.
It could be, yeah. I get what you said. So we got the cigarettes, like the food. The food is a lot better. The quality is better. More local foods.
The police don't mess with
Yeah,
you.
the police, you don't have to be concerned with that fear of the police being mistreated.
Oh no, my tail lights out.
Yeah,
I'm
my
gonna
tail
get pulled
lights
over.
out.
They don't
No,
care about
no.
that here. The only thing is just wear your seatbelt
Yeah, they're really big on
and
that.
make sure you have your insurance. Which, okay, here's another great thing, is that the insurance, everybody, needs to have insurance. And,
Yeah.
if you get pulled over in the States, at least where I've been from, if you don't have proof of insurance, what do? They tow your car. You might get arrested. Who knows? I mean, they can do
Could be
anything.
anything.
But they definitely ain't letting you drive away if you don't have insurance. So
Over here, they actually give you a chance to
when
fix
you
it.
buy a car, yes. No, you don't need a chance to, because when you buy a car, you automatically you get a starter one. It's just a little sticker on your windshield, and it's everybody's guaranteed to have liability insurance. And so when you drive by, they don't need to stop you to ask you for anything. They just scan it and they can see that your ticket or your sticker is active.
Yeah, they don't even have to scan it. They can just look.
Yeah,
and
they
see
know
the hole.
they
It's
can
a hole
look,
punch.
or
But what I mean by fix it is, in the States, if you would have if you were driving without insurance or registration, they gonna tow your car.
Oh yeah.
You gotta go to court. You gotta
Fines.
spend all this
Horrible.
fucking money. They gonna inconvenience the fuck out of you just for not having that. But over
Yeah.
here,
Might
they will give you a
beat
ticket and be like, here's your chance to go get that thing, or
Yeah.
you might have to go to court. But they're not finna sit there and try to break your pockets and do all of
No.
that kind of shit, man.
No.
They actually respect
take
the
your
Constitution, and respect the
license,
law.
do
Yeah,
all
doing
this
all kinds of
stuff.
goofy
Too
extra.
much extra.
Going around the ass to get to the elbow type shit, man. Everything about the States is
Everything's great
retarded,
here.
bro.
You can even go through the red lights at night.
Yeah, but that's kind of logic based, because
Yes.
I remember in the States where I live, there's a convenience store. There's a Shell.
Yeah, there's some ants on it.
Now I wasn't feeling ants. There's a Shell on the corner. There's a Shell. There's two gas stations on the corner, and there's a traffic light there. But at nighttime, there's damn near no traffic at all. But there's police that sit out there that just wait for people to run the red lights.
Yep. Or that looks suspicious.
They don't look suspicious. They look for rolling stops. Literally, if you don't come to a complete stop.
rolls.
Keep in mind now, it's a 4-way stop. There is no traffic. At certain times of night, there's literally zero traffic whatsoever. None. For maybe an hour. Maybe if there is a car, it's maybe every 10 minutes there may be 2 or 3 cars. It's really nothing. But if you get to that light and you don't come to a complete stop, you're getting a ticket just for not coming to a complete stop. You didn't hurt nobody.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't damage anything, but that's what they want to do. Do not bother anybody. Even if you ran the red light, you ran a red light, you get a ticket. But you didn't hurt anybody. Over here,
search your car.
they do all kinds of crazy stuff. But over here, you run lights. Number one, they say it's supposed to be this fear of getting robbed or whatever, at a certain time. But either way, whether it's a fear or not, if you're not hurting anybody, it doesn't matter. Especially if it's at nighttime. If there's nobody around, I'm looking both ways. There's nobody around. It's not gonna hurt anything or anyone to just go ahead and go through that light, yo. That's just logic.
Yeah.
But making a big deal trying to enforce a law or like a phantom or a ghost, like a ghost law or phantom, is ridiculous, man.
Just to get money.
Just
for
to
the
get money.
Government and to build up the police force more. It's not necessary here. They don't need any of that stuff.
Yeah, I remember they were hiring more police in the city where I'm from, man. I remember that, and I was like, I surely hope people don't fucking do that, because we don't need more of them motherfuckers, man. We don't. Trust me. There's enough of them. There's enough. They're like roaches around there. There's enough. Over here, man, it's way more relaxed. It's way more laid back. It's not unnecessary. Like, people don't go, man, I hate the police over here and I hate the justice system. You don't hear that over here in the States.
Less too, because of the less need for
Exactly.
specialty. Like, okay, so in Arizona, which is the Arizona, they love their police. They love all that kind of stuff there.
The blue line.
Oh yes, it's like they're like, oh, thank you for your service. Like, anyway,
Yeah,
whatever.
they literally inconveniencing everybody calling it a service.
Yes, so
It's crazy.
and so I remember on the ballot, you know, each year you get, you know, they want to vote new taxes and things and whatever they call those measures in. And it was always something. In the last like year or two that I was there, I remember hearing about the ballot things, and they wanted to raise the taxes to buy every police officer a specialty Kevlar bulletproof vest, new body cams, and new tactical rifles. Like, no, I'm not gonna vote for that. Thank you. Get out of my pocket.
You know
with that
what's
garbage.
interesting about that? I don't hear about many shootouts with the police.
Ah.
Like, maybe in some northern states, I don't know, but do they really just want to look that cool or something with all these weapons on their utility belt like Batman?
To be RoboCop and kill everybody.
Because it's like, think about this. You got all these gun laws anyway. Why would it make sense for the police to have all the guns, but the citizens do not? That's
Well,
like
the
a scary ass
citizens are all
thought.
allowed to have guns too in Arizona.
But that's in Arizona.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, there's so many laws against even carrying one. I don't see why they psychologically it would make sense to try to prevent people from protecting themselves.
Yeah.
But the police, they can't protect themselves against the police. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I will say it is easy to buy. Like, I mean, I've never bought one, but from what I understand from people I know, and I did look up the research a little bit. Like, I could have just gone into any like pawn shop, or, you know, there's weapon stores all over town, and just go in there and give them my ID, and then they run it to make sure I don't have any like felony warrants or whatever the situation is, and then sell me a gun. Like, it doesn't matter anything else in any other state. Like, anybody can get a gun over there, but you know, I don't
It's
know. That's
unnecessary.
neither here nor
It's
there.
unnecessary. People that have guns are people that live in fear anyway. And if you living in fear, your health already down the drain anyway. You don't hear about many healthy people who have guns. I'm gonna say that again. You don't hear about many people who are healthy that have guns. They're not living in fear of anything. They're healthy. When your mind is healthy, you're not concerned with death and pain
And the
all this
people
other
you're
shit.
interacting with, unless you're interacting or in that lifestyle to where I'm feeling guilty or nervous about the kind of people I'm interacting with, or something I've done, or I don't need that. Why would I, what? Like,
Yeah, you
why
don't
would I
need it.
need
It's
a
unnecessary.
gun?
You
What am I
wouldn't-
gonna do with it?
There is no why, you know. It's just you don't freaking need it, dude. It's man, it's interesting to think about all of this stuff. But yeah, growing up in the States, life really is backwards. Like, we're taught to live in fear. Excuse me. We're taught to live in fear, to stay in what we call the lower chakras, the lower frequencies. You can't really be yourself. You gotta be what everybody and everything wants you to be in order to fit in, so to speak. So there really is no individuality. You're designed to be this robot or this worker or this specific character instead of just being yourself. And the people that thrive in the States are the ones that go, yeah, I'm not gonna do all of this shit. When you think about life, the people that go, I'm not gonna do what I'm supposed to be doing according to the laws and stuff, they're really the ones that end up being the most popular, because they do all of this stuff that doesn't have anything to do with the program.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
They
They have more free time to focus on those lighthearted or more spiritual, or, you know, topics or paths, because they're not worried about, oh, I gotta get in that overtime at work. Oh no, I gotta go pay off this traffic ticket. I gotta go prepare my documentation to do this and
I
that.
think the United States is the only place in the world to where criminals get famous.
Yes.
I think the United States is the only place in the entire world where criminals and murderers and drug dealers get famous. They get more money. They get way more popular because of their infamy. More notoriety and infamy.
Yep.
United States, man. Like it ain't shunned upon or frowned upon to be this fucked up person. It's actually glorified in the States. So life is just backwards as fuck over there.
Stop.
So if you came to the state, if you came to somewhere in the tropics, you're not even gonna want to do most of that stuff. It's so green in the tropics. It's so much more rainforest and jungle and fruits and beaches that you're not even gonna want to do that stuff. It's just a world of different show.
Yeah.
It's sprinkling. It's not gonna necessarily rain. Oh, yes,
the
it's raining back
mosquitoes are
there.
kind of.
You the only one feeling mosquitoes. I do not feel any mosquitoes, guys. Not a drop.
Ooh.
Not a drop. You sure that stuff don't be in your head? That say this. I know it says something in your chart about some stuff being in your head.
Didn't you have to rub the oil on my backside, and you saw how?
Yesterday, yes. Yes.
Well,
but I would usually feel them with you.
Well, today.
I don't feel anything right now.
First I saw the ants were swarming up my legs, but it's just irritating. They're not there yet. They're right over there. You can't really see. Some of these white spots.
I don't know, but I guess we're gonna go inside because it's certainly gonna rain back there.
Oh, it's 55
see the cloud.
minutes.
Yeah,
oh, but let's stop it at 55. Oh.
55. But yeah, we're gonna certainly stop this video.
I think we covered a lot of great stuff.
We did,
Great
man.
job, Chief.
Being a lab rat in the States, man, it ain't no good.
Yeah.
It ain't no good, yo. It ain't gonna help you. You're gonna have to get out of there eventually. Peace and love.